Today we're going to wax an ear, as we can see. Got plenty of hair here to remove. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to prep the ear first, and what I use is I use a mix of a pre-cleaner. I use 2 shots of pre-cleaner on a cotton wool round and half a pump of an oil, and I do like the Coastal Banksia oil, so that's just my personal preference. So I'm going to get that product now. Is that we are just working cosmetically, and so we're going to be working around the ear. At no time do we insert any implements into the ear canal. So basically we're just removing the outer hair. Of course we do need to keep a certain amount of hair for protection purposes, so we don't really want to be removing hair from right in the ear. Now as you can see, this hair does slightly, it is cosmetic, and it does slightly curve around into the ear. So I'm just going to show you a technique of how you can collect all of that hair. It might take you a couple of applications, but just to make that look more pleasant than it does look like. First of all, so you do have to keep the product moving, just so it doesn't. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually place this around that front section first. And what I do is I whip the hairs into the wax. So this is the way that you can sneakily get just around the corner, so you pick up the wax that's actually quite unsightly but sort of further into the ear. You want to get rid of all of that. So I'm going to leave that to set. That's quite a thin application because it's a small area. It's quite thin, but I still need that very strong terminal hairs we've got here. So I'm going to let that wax really shrink wrap and grab hold of those hairs. So to do that, I really do need it to dry. I don't want to feel any heat. The wax is operating at 57 degrees and I've popped that on. Dave's body temperature, which is lower, is actually reducing the heat in the wax and then causing that to solidify. Now, as I say, it's got to be hard, so it's really got a purchase on the hair. If it's too warm still, like a chewing gummy, got warmth to it, then the hairs will probably just slip out and they'll still be left. So whilst I'm waiting for that to dry, I can see some hair along here as well. Don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to use the other end of the spatula, just to save a bit of, we only dip the spatula in once, so it's no double dipping. So I'm going to use the other end of the spatula to collect some more wax, and I'm going to pop that on. I'm going to go against the hair growth here first of all, because they're such strong hairs. I really need to get that wax around those hairs there, so it gets a real good purchase to get them out the first time. So I've got my wax, I use about that much on my spatula, and I'm going to go, I'm sort of stretching the skin here, and I'm going against the hair growth. It doesn't have to be particularly pretty. The client's not going to see your work. The wax will still work. You know, we have got a little bit of lacing, but can you see where I've put the oil on? The wax is actually starting to lift already. That is brilliant. That's what we want to see. So don't worry if that's happening with your product as you're popping it on. And that's just ease of use. So you're not having to flick and pick to get the wax off. And that's purely the oil that I've put on there. If you put too much oil on, as I say, you only need half a pump of oil. If you put too much oil on, you'll find that the product will just roll, the product being the wax, and you won't be able to get it onto the skin. So it's just a lipid layer of wax. So I'm going to remove this now. I'm going to actually pull up. So when I popped it on, the wax on, I actually went on a downward. I always sort of find that if I get hold of the ear lobe and then I just give it a good press, trying to make sure all those hairs are really stuck in there, and pull up, and there. Dave is really hairy, but there's a lot of hairs on there. I love seeing all the roots. Cooktown Orchid Wax, because I'm one of these people that loves to see waxes in operation. I'm going to show you the Daintree and Black Bean. So I'm just going to clear up this area here. Can you see we've got still got hairs on the lobe and hairs in that chamber there of the ear. So I'm just going to pop that on, and literally I'm not going in any particular direction. I just want to get those hairs into that wax, and I sometimes even go into the ear and squeeze it around so that I'm actually putting hair into the wax. There's one there as well. You don't have to do it this way. You could actually ask your client to turn their head, and you could actually be working on the other ear. You can incorporate the brows, you can be doing the nose, but just for the purposes of today, I'm just concentrating on this one area, and then we'll go on to do the nose. So I'm just waiting for this product to go to its harder state, to lose its heat, so that we know enough now, and so I want to remove it. Now, as you'll notice, I did actually sneakily fold the wax around into the ears chamber, slightly in. It's probably about 1/2 centimetre, and what I'm hoping to do is to get those few longer hairs that are sticking out of the ear into the product. So what I want to do, because if I go down the way, I'm going to jar on this part of the ear. So again, I want to get hold of the earlobe, and my idea is that I'm going to get hold of the product and I'm going to pull it up like that, and that is, can you see those longer hairs? So those are the hairs that I wanted out. Those are part of the hairs that were sticking out the ear. Sorry, Dave. So that's a good job. If you wanted to, you could do the top of the ear. Some men I've treated before have hairy tops of the ears. There's still a wee bit there which I can go back and get with my product. It's a bit piecemeally, because when you've got someone as hairy as Dave, it does take a little bit of time, but can you see that's a small application of product going on there? And then that's a good job. Oh, I might even do that little bit there as well. Again, just let those dry. Now this is a really good add-on, so if you've got customers who have boyfriends, partners, husbands, if you can get them into this, you know, I've met and I've served many men customers who have had their girlfriends' wives pluck, or they've been on the threading stand in a mall somewhere, and they said the hot wax is definitely the best option because it's less painful. Men really don't like the pain of the tweezing or the threading. Most men, anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to pull that off. So to finish, can you see the way that that's moulded around the shape of Dave's ear? It really does do the job. Dave will always want some coconut and lime after wax lotion on that area just to soothe. So he'll always moan if he doesn't get that. So I just use a small amount. My clients used to love this. They always used to comment on this. I used to use this. I use this for facial waxing a lot because it contains peppermint, and that is great for faces because it's cooling and it's bringing that redness down. So I just take a little bit of the product and I just sometimes I do it with my hand like that. It's only Dave. So that's that. If you'd like any more further information, if I can help you in any way, if you want to stand out from all of your competitors, this sort of treatment is brilliant. I'm going to show you the nasal wax, which you do need to start to introduce to your female clients because we all have hairiness. I've treated young girls from the age of 21, 22 with nasal hair up to more mature ladies who during their menopause and their older age they're getting hairs from their nose. So it's a great treatment to add on. Thank you for watching.